Physicians are trained in the art of medicine, science, and healing. We call this the practice of medicine. But healthcare is a business. SMA's Business of Medicine podcast is designed to educate physicians on a wide range of business topics with the purpose of empowering physicians with the business knowledge they need to better enjoy the practice of medicine. This podcast is sponsored by SMA Services. SMA Services is a wholly owned subsidiary of the Southern Medical Association, founded in 1984 to address the business and financial needs of physicians.
Thank you again for joining us for another episode of the Business of Medicine podcast. I'm your host, Dylan Stevenson, and today we're joined with Abbi Jones, the CEO and founder of Medpaper, and also the inventor of its first product, EcoP.
So, Abbi, if you don't mind, just give us a brief bio about yourself, what you do, who you work for, and things like that.
Okay, I am Abbi Jones. I'm the CEO and founder of Medpaper and the inventor of its first product, EcoP, which is a cleaner and more dignified way to collect urine specimen. I had many years, successful years, in the pharmaceutical sales industry, working directly with medical professionals. And before that, I was a science teacher. So I feel like I've covered all the bases on this, back end research on EcoP. In addition to having 3 children, I have 3 kids, young kids, and I have walked through all those 3 pregnancies and all those doctor's appointments. So all of this has helped me come up with this invention, EcoP.
Wow. So, a mom, science teacher, CEO, you just covering all the bases, I see.
Yes. Yes, trying to keep it interesting for sure.
I understand. So, why do you think this is a topic that other people need to hear about?
Well, it's a secret problem. As I've talked to, well, let's start in the offices. I knew it was a struggle for me when I was pregnant or even not pregnant to hit a specimen cup with a urine stream with the woman's anatomy. That is a difficult thing to do. Then you throw in weight problems, or you throw in, you're pregnant and you can't even see your toes and you're trying to aim and hit this cup. It's a problem, but again, it's an unspoken, nobody really talks about it. And so when I was a pharmaceutical rep in the OBGYN world, I started paying attention and watching and asking questions, asking the nurses, do y'all see this as a struggle? And it was 100% yes. This is terrible. People drop the cup on the floor. They drop it in the toilet. They can't wring the cup. They, peel over their hands. It's actually a huge annoying problem in the office. And I just thought, wow, why aren't we doing something about this? So it's an unknown problem and I want to kind of shed light on it. And this is ridiculous. We're in 2020. This should not be something that women dread. And the office, going to a simple office visit, and it is something we dread. As I've gotten the conversation started, you can't imagine how many women are coming to me saying, thank you. I know this isn't a huge deal, but it is a big deal. And I just feel heard. I've had a lot of women say that, like, gosh, finally somebody's talking about it. And this doesn't have to be such a problem in the bathroom.
No, I completely understand that. As a man, we have things a little bit easier in that sense, in that realm
Yes.
of everything. So yeah,
Yes.
I can imagine just, after I started looking into your product and thinking about it, I was like, this actually does make a lot of sense in, what it was created for and the benefits of it. So yeah, I completely agree with that. So EcoP is a paper-based product. How did that come about when designing this product?
Well, when I first started thinking about it, it was clearly meant for a one-time use. And just we are way too educated to continue using one-time use plastic devices in any kind of in any kind of situation, but especially in the healthcare system and in the healthcare world. And I thought, this could be made with paper. I wasn't sure, but I thought I want to go down this road and make sure to just try first. So I just through weird happenstance through a friend met with the research and developer of Graphic Packaging International, which is one of the leading Fortune 500 paper companies in the world. And I sat in front of him and I told him this problem, and he said, I think we are a great fit. And so I have partnered with GPI, and they have made a device made out of paper. And it's incredible. It's something that I want to keep going after in other venues, but for EcoP, it made sense. It's just not, we don't need one-time use. In fact, really my only competitor in the hospital space are these huge hat-looking things that sit over a commode. They're bulky, it's plastic, and then you throw them away, and it's just such a waste for a one-time use. So it was top of mind, and I wanted to run after that first. Luckily, it worked out, and we have a great partnership now with Graphic Packaging.
Now that you say you only really have one big competitor other than, the small plastic cups, that's really interesting. So, like you said, we're too educated to really stay back in time. We're kind of standstill in time in some realms of the healthcare system. So I actually really appreciate your inventiveness on this, because I really think I was showing my sister who works in an OBGYN clinic
Oh,
up in
wow.
Huntsville, and she was just like, I've never seen anything like this. So yeah, she just thought that was just the coolest thing.
Yeah, and it will, I think when I tell people in the healthcare world it's made with paper, they kind of do the head tilt because paper isn't a huge, resource in the healthcare industry, but I aim to change that. I really do. Starting with EcoP, there are just so many one-time use things that we can switch to paper with what they can do with paper now, how they can mold it in different ways. And it is a new device. It is something people are going to have to, it's a conversation. But I think once the conversation has happened, people are very open to it. And in fact, I've had a lot of success in the lab and assisted living homes where they need help with people leaving urine samples. And so I've already made some sales in those spaces. And I think quickly it will carry over into, like you said, OBGYN and all the office spaces, doctors' offices.
Yeah, I can imagine with, how, the earth has really transitioned over the years to becoming more eco-friendly and, trying to conserve our resources that, this product does help in that sense. So one quick question, and I'll question Kilt. So when the cup is removed, is there a way to recycle the product, the post of it, or, to get it reused again? Because I imagine, like you said, you know, paper can be used for anything. Some things you wouldn't even realize are paper with how they are able to mold it and, create something new. So can it be recycled in a sense?
Absolutely. And most healthcare systems, they're starting to get incentives from the government for showing that they are more green friendly, that they are eco friendly, and that they are trying to recycle. And so paper is just something, it's so easy to recycle. And so I know that a lot of healthcare systems, hospitals, assisted living homes, they have paper recycling, and it can easily go in there and then quickly be made into something else with the type of paper it is. So it's very easily recyclable.
And so with that, I imagine with it being recyclable, the cost of it is down. So is that really kind of the one specific barrier that people need to be aware of? Is just the cost of plastic versus paper?
Yeah, cost is a barrier in that since this is something new to market, it's something people haven't really been thinking about or talking about, to have to pay under $1 for something, I see that as a barrier, but the value in it is made up in other ways. For example, when a woman can't ring the cup in just a doctor's visit, just a normal visit, and I've had this happen, the nurse hands you a cup of water and you have to go sit out in the waiting room and drink the water until you can go again. Well, you have 3 or 4 patients doing that. Your day is backed up. And you could have seen 3 or 4 more patients, but you can't because, you have ladies backed up sitting in the waiting rooms till they can go, pee again. And so, there is value there. The time spent in the bathrooms from the staff cleaning up after urine specimens when a disaster has happened in there. There is a leading lab company that has to send back 1 million urine samples a day because there was not enough urine in the cup when delivered to them. So that's time back again, sending it back to the office, the patient having to come back and restart the cycle. All these problems that are not talked about and people aren't aware of, paying way less than $1 just makes more sense than everything I just mentioned. So it is something that until I get insurance covering it, which I am actively doing, an office will have to pay out of pocket. But to me, the value is there. And to the people I've already sold it to, have validated the value is there.
Yeah, I can really imagine with that because it's my urologist, for example. Every time that I had to go in there, urine sample right up front. And I feel like more doctors are moving to that, to where, a urine sample as soon as you walk in the door. So I can imagine doing that for, say, 20 to 30 patients a day. I imagine the cost in that little plastic cup is high compared to what, a paper cup would be. So another side question off it. So we know really that it's kind of made to benefit the women and doing a urine sample. Is it male friendly as well, or is there another version that is going to be made for, the male? Because I imagine, the one question people will be like, well, if it's a female benefited product, is it the same for a male as well?
Yeah, it is. And in fact, it's for everybody, all ages. So yeah, there have been men in the assisted living homes that have needed help, and it can definitely help the man. And you just put the cup in there, you use it just as a woman would. But also pediatrics. When you tell a mom to get a specimen sample from a toddler, a 1-year-old who's not even potty trained or even younger, that's that's very difficult, boy or girl, to try to catch that in a cup. So to have a funnel just to assist and to help, and the child can sit down and just, use it, and it's easy. That's a huge win in the pediatric space. I had a nurse tell me at Children's Hospital in Birmingham that if they can't get a urine specimen from a child, they just have to, put a catheter in them. And I thought, wow, that's pretty, that's a lot for a little kid to have to do. So if there is even half those kids that this funnel could help get a urine specimen from, so they don't have to go straight to the catheter, what a win. So to answer your question, yes, it is definitely friendly for men, children, women, the elderly alike.
I really didn't even think about children. So that was a great point you brought up, because I imagine, a catheter is, always a last resort for anyone. So, if there was another step like this, then obviously it would make patients more comfortable, everything like that. So I really appreciate your time today. Is there any last thoughts that you would like to put out there about EcoP or Medpaper, your company in general?
Yeah, it's just, as a mom, as a woman in the business world, and I have been in the business world for a long time, it's important to me that we do have these conversations, and that people don't, kind of roll their eyes and say, oh my gosh, it's just peeing in a cup, but really listen to that there is this little secret problem that goes on in the bathrooms. As I have met with my investors and bankers and my just across the board, so many people, I'm always the only woman in a room full of men. And they really do understand the problem I'm saying. They empathize with me, but I think it's always very interesting that the second meeting, they are very, very passionate about it, much more excited about it. And it's been clear to me that they have talked to their wife, and they have admittedly been, said, yes, okay, yeah, like didn't know. And we talked to our wives, and now we're super excited about this. So I just want to really challenge anyone who's listening to really have that conversation and ask. And, it should be an easier experience for a doctor's visit. It shouldn't be something that is stressful. And trust me, it is stressful for so many women. And so I'm just trying to get the conversation started and providing a solution. So I really, really appreciate the opportunity to do that with this podcast. And if anyone wants more resources or wants to speak to me or order or get samples, please go to ecop.health. It's going to be on the SMA website. Please reach out to me. I would love to talk to anyone more or give, like I said, samples or more information. So thank you very, very much.
I did find it very funny when you're like the first meeting, they're a little skeptical, second meeting, because they went home and talked to their wives. Because them, like, as a man, they went home and were like, get a load of this product and what it was. And then, wife was like, you man, you do not understand the issues that we have. And, then they have to get straightened out real quick, and then they have to come back the next day and like, oh yeah, I'm sorry, I acted a little skeptical. I understand now.
Yeah, we're really, really excited, and we really, really want to be involved with this. I've had actually some manufacturers call me because their wives are pregnant and they wanted some samples, and they're like, she really needs help. So, I think the compassion now is brewing, and I just need that to spill over into everybody. And this really should be a thing of the past, that you just walk in, you have assistance, and life is not dreadful in that bathroom. So
yeah, anything to make a patient's life easier, regardless if it's a man or a woman, I'm all for it. So yeah. I completely understand. So yeah, I appreciate you talking about your product today, and I hope that this podcast will help shed a light on more topics like this that need to be talked about, so it's not so taboo like a lot of people want to, make things to be these days. So yeah, I really appreciate it.
Yeah, well, thank you so much.
Please consider supporting our mission by becoming an SMA member or making a tax-deductible donation. You can do this by visiting sma.org/donate.